Come here, buddy. Okay, you got fat. I only have a couple of minutes to say this, so in brief, William Schubert and we are writing a book, and we need you guys to help. So, I'm a reporter for the New York Times. Check it out, NewYorkTimes.com. Jeff Leibowitz, Leibowitz. William is just an awesome, amazing writer who needs more recognition. He has been told over again, including by me, that he needs to publish, and so we have decided to do this. Long story short, what are you doing? Long story short, what we need to do is we need 10 people. We have 10 subjects written out. Alright? For example, one is on the eyes of venomous snakes, how they see. One, what's up, buddy? One thing that we don't want to do is copy Wikipedia. Why? Because there's Wikipedia. And if someone wanted to know something, just factual, they could go there. So we're looking for personal experiences. So let's say you can write about elapids. Cool. Write about them. If you're an expert, good. That's good. If you're not an expert, that's okay. Why? Because you do the research. That's what a reporter does. You think a reporter... Sorry, buddy. You think reporters are experts at everything they cover? Just the opposite, as it should be. As long as you can be impartial, judgmental, and dispassionate. It's a good word, right? Then you are more than welcome to research your topic, give it to us, and you'll have one chapter. So far, we have 10 ideas. So, if you are good with croats like this guy, who really has gotten so much heavier, like heavier than I thought he was going to be today. Maybe I need a bigger hook for you. Jesus Christ. Oh, he's like, I worked out hard today and I hurt my arm, so it's a little bit tough. In any case, we need you to write stuff, right? So if you want to write one chapter, that's all. I'm writing one chapter. William's going to write one chapter. Someone will write a preface. We'll get somebody, some hotshot to write a preface. We have all sorts of buddies that we could probably bribe into doing it. So, think about the subject. If you have a subject you would like to do and you have some personal anecdotes, all the better, because that's something Wikipedia does not have. And, excuse me, please, I have to help Shakes here for a second. Come on up a little bit more, buddy. God, you got heavy. I need the bigger hook for you. Like Christ. Buddy. Yeah, I know you're going to shit. So, you get the idea. Now, if you have an idea that's not in our 10, I'll publish them. Well, I'll post them. Then, just say so. And we will talk. And we will negotiate. And we can fight a little bit. That's what you do. That's the editing process. You got to fight a little bit. Just be cool about it. That's just the way it goes. It has to be that way. Writers fight with their editors. We will be the two editors. Your names will appear on the book just like ours. All we want to do is, well, just think about it. When was the last time a really good book came out on venomous snakes? Not just on identifying them. We can do that too. But just anything. When was the last book that came out that was helpful to people who... Do you see that movie I posted with the kids and they don't know the words venomous and poisonous? That's another good chapter. Venomous and poisonous, including something on snakes that are poisonous. But of course, that's interesting to us. But we're talking about the layman. So explaining to them the difference. If you bite it and you get sick, it's poison. If it bites you, it's venomous. Everyone knows. I'm so sick of the same facts, I'm so sick of hearing the same facts over and over and over. We need people who can write something new, something interesting. I don't even want to read things that the boon vipers, they have fangs that are 2 inches long. No shit. King cobras aren't really cobras. Come on, we all know this. I've been hearing this for 40 years. I can't take it. I swear to God. I need something new. I need to have some sort of thought in this. There has to be some meat to it. I want to hear about your personal experiences. I want to hear about things that I haven't heard before. Teach me something. Teach the reader something. It doesn't have to be for experts, but it has to be for intelligent people that are looking to have their mind stimulated, right? The eye one is a good one. I have a friend, he's an ophthalmologist, the most famous in the world, Michael Samson, Samson. And he's in New York, and he was considering writing the chapter on the eyes of snakes. But I figured We don't need that. He'd be writing for a very select audience of maybe 20 people that are at his level. Who needs that, right? As much as I appreciate it, I need you guys, right? So I just want you to think of that as a guide, something that, imagining a chapter describing the different kinds of eyes of venomous snakes and how you could be fooled by this eye or that eye thinking this snake is venomous or that snake is venomous. We could have one on scales. It's so easy. It's so easy. I have 15 chapters written out. We only need 10. And I'm going to publish them. I'm going to post them, right? So will William. We're doing this together. So, if you like one of them, hit me up and you're on. As long as you're willing to do the research. Because if it's not good enough, then we're just going to redo it until it is good enough. But if you don't give me anything to work with, I'm a good copy editor, but I can't, just spin something into gold that's made of yarn. So give me something that I can work with. Again, if you have a better idea, just hit me up. God knows that I'm not one to discourage input as long as you're willing to do the work. So it should be great. We can make it into an audiobook. I know I've published books. I know how to publish books. It's not going to be expensive. It won't cost you a cent. If anything, you're going to make money and it's not going to cost you anything. So what I need is what's called copy. I need copy. And I need people to write well. I will help you with this style. It doesn't have to be perfect. I like rewriting things. I can do it extremely fast. I just need you to have the expertise or to get the expertise. So, look, I'm not a good speaker, but you get the idea, right? What are you doing, buddy? So please, if you're interested, now is the time. Not in a week. It's going to be over by then. We're getting started. We're going fast on this. This is something I've done many times. And there's a book show coming up. We're going to that. We're going to promote it. I already hit up the wholesalers that sell to libraries and to bookstores. So it's now or never. Although, look, there's always a second chance. I'm sure we'll be doing other books. But this will be the first one. And I think it'd be nice for you to be in it. So, I know it's not for everybody, thank God. Otherwise, we'd have like thousands of people with these requests. Hit me up if you're serious about it, if you're ready to start working now. And I promise I will help you. William will help you in any way that we, or as he called himself, Wild Bill, will help you in any way that we can. And isn't Shakes cute? He's just cute. You can't imagine what a pain in the ass it was to get permission to have him, but he's cute. All right. And he's heavy, and I'm putting him down now. Thank you for listening. I'm sorry I explained things so poorly, but look, did my best. All right, folks, be well. Thank you for listening. Thank you for writing. Thank you for getting in touch. You better do it. Don't wait. Just do it. It's something good for you, something new. Get your name out there. Try. It's good for you to do something new. It's good for you to create something. I mean that. Just take it seriously. Take it seriously. If you've been working with snakes for 20 some odd years, if you really know your stuff, isn't it worth it? Not that I want to make a whole speech. Shh. You'll be good. Shh. Thank you. If you've come this far, years and years, you're dealing with these snakes, you're buying enclosures, you're buying food, you're spending a fortune every month, you've learned so much. Anyone in this hobby knows a lot. Anyone. Every single person that's willing to risk their life for something they love knows a lot. It's like being a gladiator. You're going to know your stuff if you're still alive. I believe that, and I think that's part of why we don't get along. We don't respect each other's expertise or each other's experience, right? And yeah, there's different kinds of experience. There's experience of having, let's say, one snake for 20 years. There's experience of someone who's worked for 1 year extracting venom from 200 different snakes, right? It's not the same thing. That might even be worth a chapter, but we're all experts in our own right, in our own way, right? I don't like to use that word with myself. Many people consider themselves experts, and I tend to agree with them. But, now is the chance to prove it, so that when you have an argument next time with someone, and they say, I know more than you, and you say, I know more than you, bitch. Well, instead of just sticking with that, you could say, I'm a published author. Huh? I published a best-selling, this book will sell. I know how to do this. I've done it before. Check it out. I've written books. I've written the best-selling book that changed the way people look at venomous snakes. Right? Read that, then come back and tell me you know more than me. Right? And it'll sound good. And on the back, there will be endorsements from some of the biggest names around, and not just in venomous snakes, in book writing. So we're sort of well connected here. You know, we're not good fellas, but we're well connected. And I would love to have people who I don't know, people who I do know. I would love to have every kind of person. I'd like to have people from far away, people from nearby. But just because you're far away or nearby doesn't mean anything. I just want everyone to feel part of it. It won't put you ahead. It won't put you behind. We're all just doing this based on our own abilities. And as long as you try and you give me facts, I promise you I can make you sound like a genius. Right? Or I can give you the New York Times flow. Right? It's going to sound like a New York Times article, not the politics of the New York Times, all that garbage. I started there, I was 17. I'm 57, 40 years ago. Right? So, you know, don't worry about any of that garbage. You know, I was taught by editors that were very serious about accuracy, and I take this very seriously. You know, so everything in it will be fact-checked by you, by William, by me. I'm getting copy editors that I work with to help. I have 5 so far. It's going to be a good book, for real. So why not write a chapter? Why not give yourself credit for all the work you've done? Why not? You know, if you've risked your life, whether you freehand or not doesn't matter. The fact that you have venomous snakes means you've risked your life. Why not get some sort of identity from it? Why not let people know who you are? Might that not help you to sell your snakes better? Don't take this the wrong way, but I don't need you. Will doesn't need you. We don't really need you. We want you, but we want you to want to do this. You know, why not create something new with us? It's good to collaborate with other people. It's good to, if you have expertise, let people know about it. It is good to create something, you know, and I want you to have that feeling. But I on the other side of that, you know, I don't want people to think that just because you send something, it's going to be approved, because that is certainly not the case. And I've worked as a copy editor and something that's... What's with you? What's with you? We have different kinds of editors, and I've worked as the kind that bounces stories. I have no choice. There are times when someone writes a story, right, and it's great, but that same day, Macy takes out a big ad. But there's another story, too. One's a big news story. One's about a guy in Queens who found a bear's foot. This actually happened recently. So who do you use? You know, one is interesting, but one actually contributes something. It should be informative and entertaining. Informative and entertaining. That's the whole deal. Right? So this happens a lot, and so I have often been forced. I don't always do, it's called backfielding. I don't always do backfielding, but I've done it a lot. And what I do is I bounce the stories that are the least entertaining and the least informative, especially the least informative. So had that guy with the bear's foot give me more, had he made it fascinating, had he found out who was this bear, where did it come from, why is there a bear's foot in Queens, things would have been different. Just the fact that there was a bear's foot, you know, anyone walking by could say, look, okay, they found a bear's foot. All right, that's where the story begins, right? So just to stick with this little example, so snakes have different kinds of eyes. We all know this. Right? What does that mean in terms of their being venomous or not? What can a kid who's going camping learn from that? What good is it? Why is it important? How are they different? Do they see differently? What is it that they see? All that stuff. If you're good at croats, good. Write a chapter on that. If you have something very specific you're good at, if you have a good anecdote, think about the kind of snake that your anecdote is about and see if you could write it up. Write a great story. Make it funny. Make it interesting. I'll help with that. I'll make it flow. Trust me, I'll make it flow. Read my stories, man. I flow. I do. I'm not embarrassed to say it because it's true. It's not showing off if it's true. But try to also include facts. So if you're writing something about your personal experience with and golden coral cobras, right? Good. They're cute. They might be good beginner snakes. You could write a chapter on what would be the best first hot. Alright, so you have your personal anecdote, whatever it may be. Now, what we don't want is for you to write a chapter saying why your experience is the best experience and why everyone should have that same experience. What we want is for you to consider every possible perspective that'll fit within one chapter, figure 30, 40 pages, and then to give everybody equal exposure. I never had a news story ever with fewer than 10 sources, meaning 10 people that I published. I had hundreds of people that I would speak with for every story, and I still do. Unless it's a tiny little thing, of course, But please consider it. Please give yourself some credit. Please give yourself your due. If you're already a big name, well, what have you published? A lot of people are big names for all sorts of, sensationalist reasons. And we all know that nonsense. It doesn't make you anything. It doesn't make you a published author if you're famous because of your views, right? That's fine and good and all that. But I'm sorry, buddy. That was bad. I'm so sorry, sweetie. But I think this will help your credibility. I think this will help lead you to new things, right? It's not just my opinion, right? It's my opinion, but I know it to be true. I do. I wrote news stories when I was 17 for the Times, right? That was my first year. It was a big year. It was a good year. And I got into Harvard because of that, right? There were some other things I did, but nothing compared to that. Nothing. So if probably the least intelligent person you'll meet this year, can get into Harvard because of that, and the writing helped me. It helped me do well. You could certainly write a damn chapter, right? You probably know more than me. I think most people, honestly, I'm not trying to be humble, I think most people in this little chat group we have, it's not like we have that many people, we got a couple thousand people. I think most do know more than me, and I'm proud of that. But now I would like to tap into your knowledge. I'd like you to tap into your knowledge. I'd like you to get credit for it. Show other people, And financially speaking now, I want whatever percent that I do. So whatever work I put into it, if I put in 10%, I want 10%. If you put in 10%, you'll get 10%. Whatever percent you do, you'll get. There's not going to be any scams here, and there's not going to be any bullshit, and it'll all be in writing before anything happens. So please don't get the wrong idea, and please don't spread the word that there's some bullshit scam going on, because that will not happen. And when you see the names of the people that we already have, you'll see that these are legitimate people. Alright, so start thinking of subjects. I'm going to post the subjects that I've come up with. You don't have to use them, but I think they'd be helpful. Just think about the one on snake's eyes. It's a good example. You could have an anecdote about it. You could talk about a misidentification. Don't come off as knowing everything. Instead of coming off as knowing everything, which will mean nothing, cite sources. Give your anecdote, tell your story, but then when you start talking about the facts, you can't just say, a fact without attribution. You say comma. You say, I hate these stupid things, but gaboon vipers, they have fangs that are 2 inches long, comma. According to, said. You need to have attribution. Someone saying it. You can't just say it and then tell me it's true. No shit, it's true. And don't just use Wikipedia. You have to actually cite a source, right? It's going to be real. It's going to be academic, but it's going to be published to everybody. Academic in the sense that it's going to have endnotes and footnotes. It's going to be real. Look at the books that people read from the 1900s. They're good. They're very good, and they're well sourced. There's a lot to be said for that. Instead of just saying, let's just do it together. And, I think this, I think that. Shut the fuck up. Well, excuse me, I'm sorry. What we need to do, yes, is work together, but substantiate what we say, confirm the veracity and authenticity of every single word, and let's make sure that this is fun, informative, and, entertaining. So, the book itself, entertaining and informative. That's all I can think of, man. That's everything I can think of. So if you don't get the idea, I know it's my fault. Hit me up. I can do better. William will do a lot better than me. I'm not a good speaker. I'm a writer. So, by the way, you all need to thank Shakes for his patience and kindness here. I appreciate you listening. Let's do this. You might have a big name in the Venomous community. How about getting yourself a big name everywhere? Like in the animal community. And that's the way many algorithms work in social media. I've studied this pretty intensely lately. You'll see, if you write something specific about a snake, go with the eye example. And if you write that, you're going to get put into reptiles, snakes, then specificities. All right, you can go deep into that. You could do pretty well that way. But if it's really a hit, if it teaches people, let's say it's like a field guide, and it teaches people how to use the elements you mentioned, the aspects you mentioned about, which eyes are this and which are that, or the tails, whatever. You get the idea. It's just an idea. Then what they'll do on YouTube, at least, and I know the other ones do it, they have an algorithm, and then it's like a circle like this, like a racetrack, and then they'll move it to another section, right? Instead of just reptiles, snakes, it'll be animals, right? Now, if it does well there, they're going to check how many likes are there proportionate to views. And then if it does well there, in a certain amount of time, during certain hours of the day, you have to really study it. YouTube is not easy. Then they're going to move it to something even broader, like animals and their enclosures and zoos and pets, right? Like, not just exotic pets, like all pets. It becomes something that is broader and broader and broader, and we are gonna publicize the hell out of this in all social media. So we need it to be specific. I know it's gonna sound like a contradiction, but we also need it to be general. Give us your anecdote, make it interesting, make it personalized, and then talk to us about the facts. Not Wikipedia facts, the facts that you research from actual books. They're made of paper, they have covers. Get a book, open it, and source it. That's something you're not going to see other people doing on the internet. We need it to be original. There will be no libel, there will be no copying, and any of that copyright infringement, none of that. Who needs this, right? Let's do it right, all right? And that officially is the end of my spiel. Thank you for putting up with me. I do appreciate it. It was a lot. If you made it this far, you're a patient person. All right, Shakes, I'm sorry.